everyone, it's Marisha, and welcome to my creative diary. I hope you're having a great day. Today, I am creating for the very first time a vintage inspired card. The products that are featured in today's video are by the Lily Collections Classic Script Stamp and this little heart from Fawn's Mug Frame Die Collection. So let's get started. To begin this project, I brought in this watercolor paper and these inks by Catherine Pooler, Lemongrass and Orange Twist. Now, let me tell you, I have heard a lot of great things about her inks, so I decided to purchase a few. And let me tell you, I am very, very pleased. Her ink pads are very saturated. I love the colors. I really, really, really enjoy her ink pads. Okay, I love them and I cannot wait to collect some more. So I just smushed them on my glass mat and I brought in some water to spray. Now I brought back in my watercolor paper and I'm going to dab it in the water. Yeah, no, not what I was looking for. Let me try it again. Still no. Let me just put the entire piece of paper in this water. Okay, see, it's coming together. Let me try it again. Ooh, okay, I like that. And sometimes in life, you just have to try things again. Don't take things too seriously if it doesn't work out the first time. Just pick yourself up and try again. I was having fun creating this background. I really was. So I decided to bring in another piece of paper and repeat the last step. Now here's a tip, trick, hack, whatever you want to call it. You can take some time and just create watercolor backgrounds. Keep them on hand. And if you're looking to make a quick card, just pull them out, add a sentiment to it, attach it to your card base, and voila, you're done. Now that my papers have dried, I am just looking over them just to decide which one do I want to go with. So I'm going to go with this one. So on to the next step. Next up, it is time for some embossing. So I brought in this clear stamp and my embossed clear dabber. Now, this card was not pre-planned. I did not sketch it out. Basically, what you're seeing is just how I created it. I just grabbed my materials and just got started. Now, I came across some journaling pages that were vintage inspired, and I just thought, oh my goodness, they are so pretty. I would love to learn how to create them. So that's what inspired me to create this card today. Now I'm going to take my gold embossing powder and just sprinkle some on top of my panel, and then I'm going to tap off the excess. Now it's time to bring in my heat tool to melt the powder. Next up, I'm bringing in my card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm taking my dabber and just brushing it along the outside of my card base. I'm then going to add my gold embossing powder, and I will tap off the excess. And then I will bring in my heat tool to melt the powder. Next, I'm bringing in Distress Inks Walnut Stain, and I'm using my blending brush to apply the ink to the outside of my card panel. Now, during this time I created this card, I had no idea of what I was doing as far as creating a vintage themed / inspired card. I didn't, but I knew I had an idea in my heart and I wanted to create it, and I didn't have any regrets. And sometimes you have to do that in life. If you have an idea or something you want to do, just go for it. No fear. Just step out there and do it. I love how this panel is turning out. It is so pretty. I just really love this. So next up, I brought in Distress Oxide's Lucky Clover, and I just smushed some on my glass mat, and I applied some water to it. And I'm going to bring in my brush because you know what I want to add? Some splatter. Now that I'm done adding my splatter, it is time to move on to the next step, which I brought in these 3 hearts that I die cut off camera, and I'm going to turn them into a shamrock. Now that I know the placement of my shamrock, I am bringing in my foam tape to add some dimension. And I'm just going to apply it to the back of each heart and then add it to the card panel. My panel is coming together, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, something is missing. So I brought in these clear embellishments by Studio Katia to add to my panel. Now that I'm done adding my embellishments, I decided to go ahead and add my panel to my card base. So I brought in my foam tape to complete this next step. So now that I applied my card panel to my card base, I'm looking at this card and I just kept like thinking that something's missing. I just kept thinking and thinking, and so I decided to add another shamrock. So I added the second shamrock and I just looked at this card and I'm like, something is still missing. So you know what I did? I got up and walked away. So during my break, I went through my stash and I came across this lovely sentiment. So I thought, okay, I can add this to my card. And you know what? Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you'll start creating and you'll get stuck. Things may not turn out how you want it like it does in life, but sometimes you just gotta walk away. Don't take it to heart so much. Just take a break, a breather, go have some lunch, some coffee, tea, and then start all over again. Hey, sometimes you get stuck in a ditch, but guess what? That's what AAA is for. Ta-da! It looks like this card is done. I cannot wait to create my next vintage inspired card. I cannot wait. And you know what? I want to thank you so much for tuning in with me on today. I really do appreciate you. Don't forget to check out my blog at thediarybellrose.com. If you haven't already, please subscribe, click the thumbs up button and the notification bell. And remember, self-care is the best care. So until next time, please take care.